g'day. How you going? What do you know? Don't strike a light. G'day, g'day. And how you going? Just say g'day, 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 and you'll be right.
Welcome to the Midweek End Times News and Trends Briefing as we share major events and what is happening around the world as it relates to Bible prophecy. Today's date is April 26, 2017. Thank you for joining us with another episode, and we're so blessed to be able to share with you some of the important events and what is happening and what's going on so that you're aware, you're informed, and what is going on. And again, this is just some brief points to consider. There's hundreds and thousands of other things that we could be bringing to your attention, but these are just some things we just wanted to highlight real briefly. As the situation concerning North Korea continues to escalate, there's more things being put in place from military to meetings and also drills. For example, according to Zero Hedge, Washington, D.C. is going to hold a massive, complex, coordinated terrorist attack drill on April 26th, so on Wednesday. They're going to go and have this staged, very realistic emergency event involving multiple sites and actors posing as casualties. There's no concern for the residents to be alarmed because the exercise will occur in controlled environments. So they're being prepared, they're getting prepared because the inevitable, something's going to happen at some point. There's also concerning North Korea, and that other point there was just a terrorist attack in general. Just when things go awry within a country, terrorists can come in. It's dealing with North Korea, it could be dealing with Iran and a number of other components to that particular drill. Anyways, something that's unprecedented that's going to take place as well on Wednesday in the U.S., that the entire U.S. Senate will go to White House for North Korea briefing, according to Reuters' website. So top administration officials from the Trump administration are going to hold a rare briefing on Wednesday at the White House to the entire U.S. Senate on the situation in North Korea. All 100 senators have been asked to the White House for the briefing by Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, the National Intelligence Agency, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, amongst many others that are going to be a part of that briefing. But you have those main guys there that are going to do the briefing, while administration officials routinely go to Capitol Hill to address members of Congress on foreign policy. It's unusual for the entire Senate to go to the White House and all four of those officials to be involved in that particular briefing. This briefing on Wednesday was originally scheduled for a secure room at the Capitol, but President Trump suggested that the shift to the White House and congressional aides. Washington has been expressing mounting concern over North Korea's nuclear and missile testing and its threat to attack the United States and its Asian allies. Trump, who called the leaders of China and Japan during the weekend, told UN Security Council ambassadors on Monday that the status quo was unacceptable and that the council must be ready to impose new sanctions. Congressional aides suggest that the briefing was to be held at the White House to underscore the message to North Korea that Washington is serious about wanting to shift in policy. U.S. senators said that they're happy to be hearing from the White House and to go to this particular briefing. Also, on another report that concerns this situation, this came out of the Sydney Morning Herald, and the article was entitled, North Korea Highlights 1,250 U.S. Marines in Darwin to Claim America is Preparing for Nuclear War. Also, another report that came out of the Daily Star that talked about how North Korea warns a great war coming as U.S. strike forces just days away. So, the tension, the situation is getting more serious as the days go by. Also, on another situation that's quite serious, and this is on another leadership front in Europe concerning the French elections. I'm not going to go into many articles on this, but just something that you need to pay attention to on who these two main individuals are, with centralist Macron and also far right Le Pen. So this is going to be a game changer for the leadership, for the direction of France and even the whole EU, and what's going to happen there. Are they going to leave the European Union much like Britain did? So this is going to be a game changer in Europe, and especially within France, is who these two individuals are, the outcome of this election. So there's going to be another part two to the election in the month to come. So just something to pay attention to, and you'll see the results and the effects of that particular election coming up. On another issue, and it's dealing with Israel, and it's more of the anti-Semitism worldwide, more so. And in the U.S., according to the Jerusalem Post, it says the anti-Semitism incidence up 86% as start of 2017. According to the report, anti-Semitism incidence in the U.S. has surged by 34% in 2016 compared to 2015, and has jumped 86% in the first quarter of 2017, according to data released by the Anti-Defamation League on Monday. Its annual audit and anti-Semitism incidents, the ADL, reported that there have been massive increases in the amount of harassment of Jews, American Jews, particularly since November, the month of the U.S. presidential election. The report stated that there is a total of 1,266 acts targeting Jews and Jewish institutes, and in 2016, nearly 30% during which occurred in November and December. These incidents include 720 incidents of harassment, threats, 510 vandalism acts, and 36 physical assault incidents. During the first 3 months of 2017, another 541 incidents took place, including 380 harassments, 161 bomb threats. In addition to the beginning of the year, saw 155 vandalism acts, including 3 cemetery desecrations, 6 physical assaults incidents. And the latest incident that included last month, which was concerning a New York rabbi received a threatening email, to which read in part, "Things will start getting bloodier for the Jewish boys. I know where you live," period. So the data of the anti-Semitism occurrences continue. If it continues at this rate in 2017, it could end with over 2,000 incidents for the course of the year. And this is something very serious matter to take place. Also, on that same heels of anti-Semitism, there was a report here in Australia out of the Times of Israel that had the Australian piercing shop declares no Israeli served here. So there was this Israeli tourist who was traveling around in the city of Cairns, which is north of Queensland, and was going to go into one of these shops that they do piercing. And in front of the shop had a sign displayed, "No Israeli served here." Israeli tourist Maura Ranger photoed a sign on Saturday on Facebook. She also wrote in the post that she and a friend in whom she was traveling around Australia entered the Cold Steel Pierce on Friday to have their nose pierced, only to be told that by the owner that he would not serve them because they were from Israel. At that moment, the guy said that he can't pierce a nose because he doesn't serve Israelis out of principle. He said he doesn't agree with what our government does, or therefore we are not welcomed in his shop, she wrote. He even pointed out a sign that we missed, "No Israeli served there," a sign that means I don't want to listen, I don't care about you, but if you are from Israel, go away. That's sugarcoating anti-Semitism, that's sugarcoating racism, she added in the post. And again, you do see the anti-Semitism, the hatred toward Jews and the people of Israel worldwide, much greater now than ever before. On another news, and dealing with earthquakes in various places. Chile was rocked by a 7.1 magnitude earthquake. No major damages have been reported, according to Yahoo website. So it was a 7.1, shook off the coast of Chile on Monday, rocking the capital Santiago and causing a brief alarm along the Pacific coast, but not producing any serious damages. The quake was centered around 22 miles or 35 kilometers west of the coastal city of Valparaiso, a shallow depth of 6.2 miles or 10 kilometers below sea, and about 85 miles or 137 kilometers from Santiago, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. Well, praise the Lord, nothing damaging happened, but it is getting more serious. These major earthquakes that are happening around the world. So it's just a matter of time before we see more disasters happening. And you do see these earthquakes, different components, different places around the world. It is amazing to see, not even where the plate tectonics are, like where Chile would be, you would expect to see more of those earthquakes, but just in, say, places like Oklahoma. In past reporting, they have hundreds and thousands of different earthquakes that are going on there. Even here in Australia, in Alice Springs, middle of nowhere, there was earthquake there several months ago. So we do see these things happening, the signs of the times. And then to close off, this is kind of a cool report. I can't totally confirm it, but there are multiple sites that have carried an article very similar to this. According to Christian Broadcasting Network, Trump cabinet members praying, studying the Bible. So this is something that you do see. We saw it back in Bush's administration, George W. Bush, after 9/11. More and more people were coming to pray and to study the Bible. It's exciting to see, and something that is so needed for every individual, every administration. Now let me close with this and just the different reactions that people may have when it comes to sharing the gospel. We did talk about receiving Christ and how one receives Christ in the last post, but there is three reactions that people typically would have to the message of the gospel. Some people are going to deny the gospel. They're going to laugh it. They're going to scoff at it. And it's their pride that gets in the way. They don't want anything to do with it. There's others that are going to delay making a decision. They'll put it off. They'll think about it and maybe make a commitment to follow some other time. So there's a delay in their response. And then the third response, which is probably the most important response, is that people make a decision for Christ. And so even though they know that being a believer may put them in a minority, people are going to mock them and make fun of them, but it's the eternal decision that needs to be made, and also for the forgiveness of sin. So there's three responses that people have: either denial, they delay the response, or they make a decision for Christ. And so don't be shocked when people reject it. We need to be praying that they would receive Christ, but you had that opportunity to share Christ with people, to be that living example for each person around you, and for us to keep preaching the gospel, to keep living out the gospel. Until next time, may the Lord radically, outrageously bless you.